Let me ask you something. What do you think would happen if you invested just $120 every month? Would you become rich overnight? Probably not. Would your life completely change next year? Not really. In fact, for the first few months, it might feel like nothing is happening at all. And that's exactly why most people never stick with it. Now imagine two friends. Both are 20 years old. Both make about the same amount of money. Neither of them is rich. One friend decides to invest $120 every month. Not $2,000, not $1,000, just $120. The other friend laughs and says, "Come on, that's way too little. What's $120 really going to do?" Honestly, that's what most people think. But fast forward 20 years. One of those friends has built real wealth. The other is still saying, "I'll start when I make more money." And the crazy thing is, the difference wasn't talent. It wasn't luck. It wasn't a higher income. It wasn't some secret strategy. It was one simple habit, repeated month after month, year after year. So today, I want to show you exactly what can happen when you invest just $120 every month. And by the end of this video, you may never look at $120 the same way again. Most people think investing is something you do after you become rich, not before. They think they need a bigger paycheck, a better job, more savings, more experience. Basically, they think they need everything figured out first. So they wait. And while they're waiting, time keeps moving. Months become years. Years become decades. And one day they wake up and realize they've spent years planning to start, but never actually started. Here's the truth. Wealth is rarely built through one giant decision. Most of the time, it's built through small actions repeated for a very long time. Think about brushing your teeth. Doing it once doesn't change much, but doing it consistently for years? That changes everything. Investing works the same way. The results don't show up immediately, but that doesn't mean nothing is happening. In fact, the most important growth often happens when nobody notices it. Let's call our investor Alex. Alex is 20 years old. He's not rich. He's not a financial expert. He's not some investing genius. He's just a normal person. One day, he makes a simple decision. He decides to invest $120 every month. That's about $4 a day. Less than many people spend on coffee. Less than many people spend scrolling online and buying things they don't really need. So Alex starts. Month 1, $120 invested. Month 2, $240 invested. Month 3, still nothing exciting. No dramatic changes, no millionaire status, no fancy lifestyle. And honestly, that's where most people quit. Because people love fast results. We go to the gym for a week and expect muscles. We eat healthy for a few days and expect a transformation. We invest for a few months and expect to become wealthy. But real wealth doesn't work that way. Real wealth is slow, at least in the beginning.
Now let's assume Alex invests his money in something that earns around 10% per year on average over the long run. Some years will be better. Some years will be worse. That's normal. But now something interesting starts happening. His money begins making money. And then the money that his money made starts making money too. That's compound growth. And it might be one of the most powerful ideas in personal finance. At first, it feels invisible. You look at your account and think, that's it? But what's happening behind the scenes is much more important than what you see on the surface. Think about planting a tree. The day after planting it, it looks exactly the same. A week later, almost the same. Even months later, it may not look very impressive, but underground, the roots are growing. And one day, all that hidden growth becomes visible. Investing works exactly like that. The early years are all about building roots. Now let's fast forward 5 years. Alex has invested $7,200 of his own money. Nothing extraordinary. Many people spend more than that on things they don't even remember buying. But because his investments have been growing, his account is worth more than what he put in. For the first time, Alex notices something. His money is helping him. The machine is starting to turn on. And here's a lesson that most people miss. The first few years are usually the hardest. The results look boring. The progress feels slow. Sometimes it feels like you're doing all this work for almost nothing. And that's why so many people quit. Not because investing doesn't work, but because it doesn't work fast enough for them. Now Alex is 30 years old. 10 years have passed. He's invested $14,400 of his own money. But thanks to growth and compounding, his account is worth much more. And now something changes. The growth starts becoming noticeable. For the first time, Alex realizes that not every dollar in his account came from his job. Some of it came from his investments. Some of it came from time. And that's a powerful realization. Because suddenly, you're no longer relying only on your ability to work. Your money is beginning to work too. While you sleep, while you're on vacation, while you're watching a movie, your money keeps moving. And the longer it stays invested, the harder it works. This is where many investors finally understand the power of investing. Not because they watched a video, not because they read a book, but because they see the numbers. They see their money growing. And eventually, there comes a point where the growth generated by their investments becomes larger than their monthly contribution. Think about that for a second. Imagine investing $120, but your investments grow by more than $120. Now your money is contributing as much as you are. That's when things start getting really interesting. And the crazy part? This only happens because of time. Not because Alex suddenly became smarter. Not because he found a secret stock. Not because he got lucky. Time did the heavy lifting. Now Alex is 40. His friends are wondering why he seems financially comfortable. Some think he got lucky. Some think he discovered a secret investment. Others assume he must have inherited money, but none of that happened. The truth is much simpler. He stayed consistent. That's it. Month after month, year after year, even when it felt boring, even when progress seemed slow, even when nobody around him cared about investing, he kept going. And that's usually how wealth is built. Not through one giant move, but through hundreds of small decisions made consistently. Now Alex is 50 years old. He started with a simple decision: invest $120 every month. Nothing flashy, nothing exciting, just consistency. Assuming an average return of around 10% per year, his account could grow to roughly $250,000. $250,000, built from a habit that many people consider too small to matter. But here's the most surprising part. Most of that growth happened near the end, not at the beginning. That's why compounding feels so strange. For years, it looks slow, then suddenly, it looks powerful. The longer you stay invested, the faster the snowball grows. Now let's change the story. Imagine Alex waits 10 years before starting. Instead of starting at 20, he starts at 30. Same amount, same investment, same returns, but a completely different result. Why? Because he lost 10 years. And in investing, time is the asset most people underestimate. People spend so much time trying to find the perfect investment that they forget the real advantage is simply getting started. Time turns small amounts into larger amounts. Time turns consistency into wealth. Time is what makes compounding work. That's why starting imperfectly today is usually better than waiting for the perfect moment tomorrow. Most people don't fail because they can't invest. They fail because they never start, or they start and then stop. They get excited for a few months, then quit, then start again, then quit again. They treat investing like a temporary challenge, when in reality, it's a lifelong habit. Wealth doesn't reward excitement. Wealth doesn't reward motivation, because motivation comes and goes. Wealth rewards consistency. The people who win aren't always the smartest. They aren't always the luckiest. They're usually the people who stayed in the game long enough. If you're watching this right now and thinking, $120 isn't enough, I want you to remember something. The goal isn't to get rich next week. The goal isn't to get rich next month. The goal is to build a habit that can change your future. Every wealthy investor started somewhere. Every giant tree started as a seed. Every large portfolio started with a small contribution. The amount matters, but the habit matters even more. Because once the habit exists, you can always increase the amount later. But if you never build the habit, nothing changes. So let me leave you with one question. If you started investing $120 every month today, not next month, not next year, today, where could you be in 10 years, 20 years, 30 years? The answer might surprise you. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe for more videos about money habits, investing, and building long-term wealth. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.